asked earlier about like what are you becoming?
Right.
Not just with your trip here, not just
Yeah.
with coming on the pod, not just, but like what has that experience made Phil become? Made Mikhail become?
You want to go first? Or you want me to go ahead?
You should go first.
I should go first? Well, Phil at the time had graduated.
Straight.
Phil's working. Phil's living at home still. Phil is working, but still dependent to a certain extent on his parents, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm in the house with them. My father passed. All of a sudden, there is that shift.
Yeah.
That cornerstone of the family that's been there forever and ever. As long as you've known,
As long as you've known.
is no longer there.
Yeah.
And the family dynamics are now upside down.
Yeah.
So you become what you need to become, and you take whatever responsibility needs to be taken, whether it's a permanent or temporary responsibility.
Yeah.
You do what needs to be done so that you can go through the day and accomplish what you need to. Is that the best way of doing it? Maybe, maybe not, but that's sort of the reality that's how I dealt with it.
But let me zoom in on that a bit.
Sure,
You mentioned taking up more responsibility.
sure.
Becoming a person that you may not have had to become in the beginning. And what I want to ask you is, what did taking up that responsibility do to you? What did it make
yeah.
you become? Because I could tell you for a fact, the Phil I knew from school time,
Right.
that's what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's a different feel now.
sure.
You seem more intent.
Yeah.
You seem more. It's like you value things different. You just
Yeah.
get a different sense of value. Like the feel of things. Like of course, computer science, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But playing the games, the League of Legends, every now and again.
Every now and again.
Every now and again.
Whenever I had a spare moment.
Whenever
Sure.
you had a thing. But I see a man developing. I see a man
Yeah.
coming to terms with all that life is giving him now, the cards that he's being dealt now. And I see you being like, it's almost as if you're, I'm not even finding the best words to describe it, because those listening may not even know what I'm talking about. They're just seeing you now. But it's like, you pause differently. that's a loaded gun. You understand? Because like you take your time. Like on Sabbath when we met, it's like, yo, Kerry, man, keep up the good work.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never used to get that feel before. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Different stage of life, man.
Different stage of life, and I feel like that mixed into the bowl
Yeah.
of your grief,
Yeah.
mixed into the bowl of your added responsibility. I think you're becoming something different. You're becoming
Yeah.
something huge.
And now, because it's a necessity, it's
Yeah.
trial by fire.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice. You have to do it. You have to rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a double-edged sword, grief, because you have to go through this trauma, whatever, but you have to build and fit into what needs to be done. And you have to become part of that foundation of whatever function was happening before.
Yeah. And learn quickly.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And the funny thing too is, you don't get to ask the person who passed how to do this. Now my father, my father was the best person to ask a lot of questions of what I had to do, and because he was passing, he actually imparted some of the you're gonna need to do this. This is how you do it. But that is a mere point something % of what I wish I could ask that man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Ask
can
so
never
much
go
question.
to him for advice on anything.
Yeah. You can't.
No,
You can't. Even if you wanted.
no, but at the same time, you're now a man. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah.
If I was a child before, I'm a man now. I have real responsibilities with real consequences, and while I had that before to a certain extent, when you have, well, in my case, my parents around, you never really think, okay, if something goes wrong, I can go to somebody to talk to. I can go to someone who can help me.
Yeah.
We don't have that option anymore. We are the backstop.
Yes.
You perform and you execute, or things fall down.
Yeah.
And what I noticed too was when I had my moments of not reaching the bar, there was no one to you had persons who could say things and be like, okay, you'll get it done better next time or whatever, but the consequences of your actions are permanent and they're final. So if you don't step up and hit that bar and you don't grow under fire, things will not get done, and there's real consequences to that.
Yeah.
So you are forced to grow.
Yeah. So you become tougher.
Sure.
You become more responsible. You become more aware.
You become grounded.
You become grounded. You become someone who, without that nudge of that life experience, you may not have taken up so quickly or been as aware of your responsibility.
100%.
Without it.
100%.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, going through that has made you become a tougher person.
Sure.
A more reflective person.
Would we prefer that it's under different circumstances? Sure, but that's the outcome.
That's it's like, boy,
Oh,
that's
boy.
the outcome. That's the process God allowed.
Yeah, listen, it makes you very, very durable
Yeah.
to emotional attacks, to certain situations. It really does. It really does make you very, very durable.
Correct.
Mm.
It's like,
And exposes it that really just exposes you to the reality of existence itself.
Oh yeah.
The real will,
yeah.
right? And it does something to your psyche. It really does, as you said, toughens you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really, really does, Yeah.
But I think in addition to toughen you up, it makes you beautiful. It makes your personality blossom if you allow it to go down that track. Because I believe it's not a guarantee; it's a choice.
No, and
You understand what I'm saying?
I was like, what?
and I could tell you because that the conclusions and the outlook I have now
Yeah.
did not happen just like that.
Yeah.
It was not a straight climb to get to that point.
No.
Yeah. Rocky.
Rocky.
You had to go through the emotions.
Yeah, and I had to learn
That-
to
That is
identify.
what makes you beautiful.
And so it's like the beauty. The beauty, I believe, comes when having gone through something rocky and making the best out of it, and choosing to become a more grounded individual.
Yeah.
Because the opposite of grounded is not being grounded,
Unstable.
unstable. And you can either choose to break down and lose your everything,
Right.
or be grounded, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think choosing to be grounded is choosing beauty. You know what I mean? Like, God has a way of allowing the things that we go through, the bad things that we go through, to turn out for good.
The beauty, I get what you're saying, and just to add on to that, what really makes it beautiful is that you recognize that, hey, I've survived this.
I've survived this.
Sure. But
When you tell yourself that, hey,
But let me
I've
add to that
survived
as well.
this.
Not to cut you off, sorry. But let me add to that. Just like how you say you grow and you get that grounded mindset, the same way that we have to ask every day for God's grace and forgiveness.
Sure.
You have to reinforce that grounded mindset daily.
Yeah.
Because we like to,
Job.
we are like, people are like
Job.
water.
Yeah.
People like water, they will take the easiest path,
Yeah.
if possible.
Yeah.
And not being grounded is sometimes a lot easier
Yeah.
than making that decision
Say it again.
to have that mindset.
Say it again. Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
choose to be grounded
Yeah. It's
because
hard.
if you are
you
not,
have to choose to be grounded. You have to choose to go through the
it is
emotions.
a conscious decision.
I'm
you have
talking
make
to you.
because
That's-
every day
talking
you
to
wake
you.
up to that reality still.
That's a choice,
Yeah.
bro.
And because
Yeah.
you're in charge and there's real consequences and you are the one that has to do certain things. If you decide today, man, I just gonna let whatever feelings or whatever thing that comes to my head hit me, and I just going to sprawl out on my bed and just don't do nothing. What do you think happens? Nothing gets done.
Nothing gets done.
And they're negatives to that.
Listen,
So
nothing gets done. You become toxic.
Oh yeah, sure.
You become a toxic person.
So that's why I think like a critical aspect of manhood, right, fellas, is watching what taking responsibility makes you become. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
And being aware that there are people who rely on you, or at least having people who rely on you makes you become a different man. And if you have nobody that relies on you, nobody who your action doesn't affect them,
Right.
you know what I mean? Because remember we were talking about, you as a man, you have to think about how the decisions I make are going to impact everybody else. I think when you lose a loved one, that throws you into a position in the family as a man,
Yes.
where you may have to almost take a headship role, and people now depend on you, and that level of responsibility could keep you in check. It could it makes it necessary for you to be grounded, because other people depend on you.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but I being through these experiences and stuff like that, I want to make sure that is very clear that, hey, as you rightly said, men, we become responsible. We become responsible for others, especially when we take that rule seriously when death is involved, because we know that we have to be this stabilizing force. We know that we have to be there for them, but we cannot allow men to deny the fact that they need to see about themselves.
Oh, 100%.
You understand?
That's like what I was saying. When I felt that I was physically feeling that I was not healthy in how I was dealing with it. I did not have a choice but to go and seek some sort of external help.
So watch under the same umbrella of becoming, because in becoming, you not only have to care for others, I think you have to care for yourself.
No, listen, you really
because
have to.
That's the place from which you feed people. And I'm saying maybe before that experience, you never really thought to be introspective or think about how you're feeling and to tap into that self of yours. But now, because of this experience, you do it, and you're a more wholesome person because of it.
Yeah, 100%. And let me give you an example of that. Not to cut you off, because when I was before the death and the passing, I would run myself into the ground doing everything I could. Like, just keep going and taking on responsibility and not saying no to people. And after his passing, my body almost became like, this is your limit. When we hit there, nothing else is happening. So inbuilt, you filled your stress meter, your anxiety meter, your responsible meter, and you cannot physically go further than that. Whereas before, I would push, keep saying yes, keep doing, lack of sleep, lack of everything, not caring for my own health. After that fact, okay, I've taken on this much about stress. I don't even want to hear about who died or who got murdered on the news or whatever. I turn it off. I close the Facebook or whatever. If somebody tells me about it and I've had enough negativity or response before the day, I say, I'm not taking this in.
That's not,
And that's my body's self-defense mechanism kicking in, because I can't take as much as I used to. There's no limitless pool to pull from that I thought was limitless, but was always very limited.
Seeing your limits, man.
Yeah, so I know what I can take on, and I will perform within that boundaries, but I am not going to take on more than that. Because it's going to negative affect me.
I think I was telling you that night about knowing where you end and others begin.
Oh, 100%.
This is such a huge contrast into in terms of my experience, but because as you're speaking, I'm wondering how would have I handled it as who I am now, as a grown man now.
Yeah.
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 I'm thinking about that while you're talking.
Different.
Yeah,
Different.
totally different
Yeah,
experience, you know.
different stage. Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
different stage, yeah.
But first to land this, I
Sure.
think there's a last thing I want to know is at the time, did you have a partner
A partner?
at the time of passing?
A partner referring to what? Do you talking
A
about?
girlfriend.
A girlfriend?
We're going there. There we are.
We're not going there long.
Sure. Yeah.
But while he, his
I had female friends. I think I had broken up with my girlfriend prior, but we got back together through, because of I don't know, let me not say because of the experience. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that, but
While you were going through that experience.
yeah, death always stirs the emotions of others around you, right? That's what death does. And so her emotions were stirred, and other women too, other young ladies too. But it was easy for me to go back with her because I lost the female. It's not like if I lost my dad.
Right.
Yeah.
You lost your mom.
I lost my mom.
Yeah.
I lost my emotional support, my emotional foundation.
The height of the female
Was gone.
presence in your life.
The height, oh my goodness, I love how Phil said that. That is so true.
height
That's,
of
Yeah.
the female presence.
Yeah.
yeah. So it was easy for me to revert back,
Back to that.
to that relationship,
But here's
and and got comfort and that sort of thing.
the action bit from this is
Yeah.
a woman has now witnessed her man go through the passing of a loved one, and she's clueless on what to say to him. Are we even in a place to help women understand, as a man, as a young man,
Sure.
how could she respond? What is your expectation of a partner, your woman, your girlfriend?
Right.
You having lost a loved one. What kind of support are you looking for? That's
That's the question.
That is very, very heavy.
Yeah.
Carelious,
Yeah,
Leslie.
Yeah.
That's very heavy.
Just throw it out there.
That's
you know.
very-
Towards the end of this podcast, and we're just gonna hit this. We're gonna hit the Mariana Trench of what we've been discussing.
Oh
That's
my
how we
gosh!
do it,
No,
man.
because
All right, fair enough.
because I'm just, you're saying it, and I'm thinking about a woman's response, what they would say. What they will creep towards that. They will creep towards it. Honey, is there anything I could do for you? Or, do you want to talk about it? They're gonna make that statement.
Right. Yeah.
Do you
100%.
want to
Do you
talk
want? Yeah.
about it? And he's like, no.
Yeah. That's that. What is there to say?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What,
That
You already know what happened.
That
Yeah.
sounds very scary, Phil. That
know,
sounded very.
so-
What is there to say? Oh my
so
god!
let me give my experience then, because I was in a long-term relationship at that
Yeah.
point. It was a long-distance relationship. So he passed, my father. Everybody, hubbub and whatever. I walk out the room. I text my girlfriend. He's gone. He passed. And she has her reactions and whatever and what have you, right? And she calls and whatever over the phone, whatever. 'Cause we're not in the same country at this
She
point.
calls on what happened. Wait, hang on, slow it down.
No,
She calls on what happened.
she's trying to be supportive, and
right.
doing what she can.
What would you
We're not
like?
in the same space, so there's only so much that can
Only
be
so much.
that can be said.
Yeah.
Words can only do so much, right?
Correct.
But it was a very matter-of-fact thing for me to express that to her, and she was caught off guard. She's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "He's gone." right?
Wait.
woman
I
might
want to know more.
A woman might want to know more.
No, well, she wanted to know more. So I'm like, okay, well, here's the details. Let me give you a play-by-play of what happened in a very matter-of-fact, statistical way of these are the bullet points. He's gone, right?
Yeah.
And how do you support? How do you respond to that, right?
A man is giving that energy. How does a woman even?
Yeah.
Hang on. Phil, what did she said? Was she
I'll
like,
be honest with you,
oh
this
my
is-
gosh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry?
Sure.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
I'm so sorry to I can't imagine what you're going through.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Like, you're stereotypical supporting positive.
Yeah.
I'll be being there for you through
Yeah.
words and what have you, right?
Yeah. And then how did you respond?
I know. I'm grateful. Thank you. That kind
Yeah,
of
the
thing.
typicals.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, I am acknowledging what you are trying to do for me, and I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Okay.
And I appreciate it coming from you.
Right.
There we go.
So you let her know. Okay.
But does it extend past that?
No, you leave it there. Do you want it to extend past that, or is it like?
Well, in my circumstance, right, we were not in the same country. COVID was
Yeah.
going on. Traveling was hard. Right?
Right. So no
yeah.
hugs.
So
No hugs.
no physical
No
contact.
hugs, bro. No hugs.
You get a good video call.
Somebody,
and
no. Don't put that in the chat. As long as I say put no hugs in the chat, but don't put that in. Don't put that in.
You get a good video call. She's there
Yeah.
for you. Her presence is there, but no hug.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
boy.
No physical contact. No one
Oh my
to
gosh.
rest your head on.
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
to,
Yeah. Boy.
give you that sort of
Boy.
comfort.
Boy. Is it kind of a? I think that makes it slightly more painful
Sure.
because there's someone who's there who's supposed to be there for
Supposed to,
you,
sure.
but they're physically out of reach.
Sure. Yeah.
She's there for him, but
She's there how she can be, but,
but
she's
yeah,
not there
but
how,
the physically
how
out
she,
of reach.
Yeah, she
yeah,
just
yeah.
can't.
The full
'Cause,
extent
yeah.
of what that support
Give him a
could
hug.
be is not there.
Could not.
Yeah.
And some may argue what are the more important parts of what a man may need at that point. Because sometimes no words but just a hug or something like that can be more comforting,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which helps the woman know, hey,
Yeah.
talking might not be the best thing right
Yeah.
now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Just
also,
being in the presence and just being
I,
around. Yeah,
yeah. I think that and serving the love language.
sure.
Yeah, serving that man's love language. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think that is what he would need at that point of time. So even if it's
There's an intersection.
food, even if it's
Yeah.
act of service, he wants some food. He's gonna be hungry. He's not studying himself in terms of the things that he need,
Right.
because of what is going on.
Yeah.
You come, you bring some food, or you hug. Let me
Yeah.
finish carrying. Or you come, or physical touch, you hug, stuff like that. So I believe feeding the love language.
My E.G. White sense is going off.
Go ahead.
What happened? What
You're
is
not
she?
married
What is
to
she
this
saying?
man. You're not married to this man.
Okay.
And so there are limits to this physicality. Yeah, that's how I say it.
Hey.
This was it. Do you understand?
Hey.
You understand what I'm saying? So it becomes even more ticklish, bruv. Because now it's like, his love language is 37% touch.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, wait,
Yeah.
can I even be there for this man? Because to be there for him, we might need to get touchy.
Right.
And if you're getting touchy for a man, touch leads somewhere. Let's not be preschoolers about this thing.
Right.
Okay.
Touch leads to particular things. And I'm saying,
Listen. Yes. She has to do it while the wake is going on. She has to do it during the wake. Where everybody's there, everybody.
in public.
In public. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't want to make it more complex.
This is serious,
Yeah,
This is
no.
serious,
That's a heavy
we're talking
topic.
something
there.
serious,
That's a
huh?
heavy topic there.
But that was a really good point. But I think sure, emotions are no respect of persons, but boundaries are. relational intelligence are. So even when you're in this state, you're
Sure.
still, because these things are your principles, your values. You value boundaries. You value this.
Circumstances
yeah.
not change that.
No,
There you
no,
go.
it won't.
Yeah.
It won't. This is a core value.
Yeah,
Boundaries ought to be a core value.
Yeah, you still hit that
So-
brick wall and that's it.
So that's why immediately in my mind is, hey, at the wake, you can hug while everybody's there and stuff like that.
But
Yeah.
that also
Yeah.
requires that might need to be the one that provides that boundary, because he may be out of it completely.
Yeah.
And she needs to be the one that says, this is where we are. This is the box that we're in. And we don't step out.
Yeah,
And that's that support.
I believe it depends. I mean, hopefully it's been practiced enough.
No, yeah. And
You know?
I'm saying in the moment where the man might have him, he's at a weak point.
She picks up the slack.
Yeah, she picks up the slack.
Yeah.
Because he may be out of it,
Yeah.
and while normally he may
Yeah.
he may be the one champion, and these are our boundaries and whatever.
Right,
He's
right,
experiencing
right.
something he's never experienced before. Probably one of the more traumatic things in his life he's going to experience.
Yeah.
She needs to be the one that picks up the slack and takes a bit of that to the bank.
Yeah.
There's this thing getting ticklish. no, it's getting ticklish because it's like a ticklish thing.
Oh, of course.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I love him. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't want to make him even more angry that I don't want to touch him too much.
Yeah.
know what I
Listen,
mean?
Listen.
Because he
Yeah.
will get, I don't want to add to his grief,
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I could just see some women saying, you know what, I'll give you.
But also,
How do I
I'd
approach?
want to say that comes with knowing your partner as well. Because not every man might have, anger as the raw emotion that comes out. It may be common, but not everyone, right?
Yeah.
So if you know your partner is going to go down a certain road or reacts a certain way, you can tailor how you draw those boundaries and how you bring that to his attention, right?
Sure.
Because, yeah.
Good. Let's cap off that segment there, because I think we could definitely talk about that again. But we're coming to the end of the year,
Yeah.
and it's the season of family. It's the season of Thanksgiving. It's family dinners, family get-togethers, and here it is, someone's missing.
Jeez.
And I'm thinking about somebody who may have lost their father or their mums or their sister during COVID.
Yeah.
And that family was very close knit, and they're about to
Right.
enter into another Christmas season
Without that person.
without that mums or without that dads, and it's like that's hard.
I tell you, it was the most un-Christmas however you want to put. There was no Christmas that Christmas, man.
Yeah,
But the reality is you have to go through the emotions.
You have
Sure.
to go through it.
No, listen to me, and I'm talking to men as well, especially men, I should say. You have to go through the emotions. Whenever it comes up, you have to face it head on and just let it flow out of you. You have to let it. You have to get it.
Don't escape.
The thing is, it's to get it out of you,
Yeah.
It's to let out. Remember, we talk about outlet.
Right.
Outlet, let out. You have to let it out of you. You have to let the emotions out. So when you face it, you let it out. I think I was telling you a story in terms of just 2 Sabbats ago, the Saturday night, when they had the Steel Pan concert, right?
Yeah.
They had the Steel Pan concert, and an old friend of my mom's, he's there at the concert, right? Grew up seeing him as a child. He's exceptional at playing the piano, right? So he's there in our church playing the piano, stuff like that. He played for, my mom was Sabbath school superintendent, so programs. He's there playing in the morning, stuff like that. Close friend, right? I see him here. My mom died years ago. I mean, we're talking about 2011.
2011.
What year we in? 2023, right? Years ago. I see this brother, and I just looking at him like, I'm looking at how he aged as well. I haven't seen him in a long time. Yeah. So I'm looking at that. And I just had to talk to him, right? Talk with him. It took him a while because he's older now and stuff, and I haven't seen him in years. So he was like, it took him a while to remember, hey, who I am. And he was like, oh, yeah, I took the thing. And then we started, chopping it up. And while I'm talking to him, I'm crying. I'm trying to hold it in while talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's bringing up the past. He's bringing up, Princess Tongue and him playing the keyboard. And he's bringing it up,
Chopping
right?
it up, man.
He's asking about my family and stuff like that. Right? And I'm like, they're good. And listen, I am crying. He's not looking at me,
Yeah.
And I'm just like trying to, that
The thing,
yeah.
bro.
But listen, by this time tears running down my face, bro. And I had to cut the conversation short, but I remember telling him, listen, it's nice to meet you. And then I just went off and broke down. And broke. I just went and broke. And I stayed in it, Phil.
Yeah.
I stayed in it.
You went through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just let it come out. Because I don't want it to fester.
Yeah.
I don't want it to do that, right? Because that is what causes the pain in your life. When you let grief fester in your life, that is what it stifles you.
Yeah.
It stifles your peace, your ability to feel joy, stuff like that, happiness. It keeps you in depression. It keeps you in depression. So you want to be letting it out as it comes. As the emotions come, let it out. So I went in a corner and I let that out.
Yeah.
I let that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to talk to someone. I wanted to talk to someone. No one was around. Like who was really close to me. I wanted to talk to somebody really close.
Yeah.
I went home. I stay in my apartment alone. I went home. I talked to Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm out loud talking to Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm talking to him out loud. I'm not saying it in my head. I'm talking to him out loud and telling him how I felt about it.
Yeah.
What seeing him brought back into my mind and stuff like that. I talked to Jesus about it. And I felt good after. I felt, I prayed, wiped my tears. I felt good. So listen, I'm always gonna push that because you talk about Caribbean men keep it in.
Bottle it up inside.
Bottle it up.
Yeah.
And then you have a lot of toxic men, toxic masculinity as they're saying it now. It shows up when you haven't dealt with these things. Yeah.
And to add to that, the longer, because it's easy when you start feeling things, it's easy to find a distraction and ignore it.
Yeah.
And the longer it stays, the longer it festers.
Yeah.
And the worse it's going to manifest when you haven't dealt with it.
Yep. Yeah.
So if you can identify when you're starting to...
Phil, look at the camera and tell them that, you know.
When you can identify...
Yes.
When you're starting to experience that, don't run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sit in it, identify what's happening to you.
Identify,
And then figure out what you're going to do with this to move forward. Don't go, go on Facebook, go on Instagram, don't go scrolling, don't go... Take a walk.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and
let it
process
sit in your mind.
Yeah.
Some of the best epiphanies for me come to me when I shower.
Yeah.
I feel that's everybody, boy.
No, but like, if
shower, walking, run,
when your body is engaged, but your mind does not have to think about what your body is doing.
Yeah. Washing plates. Washing
my mind
plates.
just go for a zone.
Yes. That is so true. Washing. Yeah, washing.
Plates.
Dishes.
My mind does go through a zone.
Yeah, doing the dishes.
But when you share, sit in it. When you share, let it out. I'm thinking that's the place the Caribbean man has to come.
Yeah.
Because he has to sit in it.
In order to let it out.
In order to let it out.
And it doesn't feel natural to do that.
Correct. Because as you were saying earlier, the knee-jerk way is to go the way of avoiding.
Of course.
Yeah.
Replace it. Find something that makes you feel good. Anything like that.
Experience is
the
unnatural.
discipline to sit it out and let it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you have no clue what you're going to become on the other side of it. Right now, as we plan this plane, I'm painting my house, and I have a lot of respect for people who paint. I have so many cracks in the walls that need to be repaired, and I'm in repairing it. Boy, it's an ugly process. In working on those walls, in putting the cement, putting the mud, in doing the works, the place is messy. But boy, when it's done, when it's done, what those walls become. I have no clue what those walls will become, but I just know when they're done, they look good.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with my ability to paint. It just has everything to do with going through the process, bruv.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And like right now, in the grief process for someone, it's cracked. It's ugly right now. But boy, you have no clue what you will become at the end of this. You have no clue what going through it, what sitting it out, and letting it out will do for you. Because at the end, I could guarantee you, like those of us here, you become better because of it. If you choose that path. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Beanbag Podcast, where we have these uncomfortable conversations,
Very
in a
much
comfortable, casual setting.
Boy.
You know, but that's what we try to do, because I think at the end of the day, that's what Christ wants us to do. Because a quick thing, the Beanbag Podcast is a place where, you know, the concept of spilling the beans.
Sure.
What we try to do with the beanbag is bring all the beans in one bag.
Right.
That bag, which is Christ, because Christ doesn't necessarily want you to spill the beans. He wants you to save them. Why? Because he wants to plant them at some point. You know what I mean? And if we plant the seed or the bean of our grief, we can become something beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, Beanbag Podcast.
Yeah.
You see why the podcast is be good?
Oh, great. Yeah. This is like a free therapy session right there.
Yeah.
Listen.
You see how this thing can be cut up
Listen.
into a couple?
Yeah.
What was the runtime of this?
This was our one.
This was our longest episode.
Our 125 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking at the time. Yeah, I was paying attention. Yeah, I was paying attention to the time.
You see the part of the women?
Yeah.
Bam. That's what
And we
you
could
get
have went
bro.
more into that too. I was surprised that you brought that up. I was like, oh man, he bring this up so late into the podcast.
Yeah, but you have to let it go through the process. You know?
Yeah.
No, but we had to cut this in two.
Yeah, cut it. You must cut it.
Yeah, we had to cut this in two.
And we didn't.
Because the last part juicy too, right?
Oh yeah.
That last part was
Do we need